crow has remembered one man's face for 7 years, and the man has no idea. Every morning he walks to his car, and every morning the same crow is on the same wire, watching him. It doesn't dive, doesn't call, just watches. The man looks up, looks away, and drives off thinking nothing of it. But the crow isn't thinking nothing. The crow is keeping a file, and what's in that file, and how it got there, breaks almost everything you assume about what an animal is doing when it looks at you. We assume animals live in a kind of endless present. You scare them, they scatter. You hurt them, they react. And when it's over, it's over. The moment dissolves, the animal moves on. No grudge, no record, no memory of you at all. That assumption isn't slightly wrong, it's completely wrong. And the proof comes from a study that started almost by accident. In 2006, a scientist at the University of Washington named John Marsleff wanted to study how crows respond to threats. So his team did something simple and strange. They put on a specific rubber caveman mask, went out onto campus, and trapped a few crows. Caught them, banded them, measured them, and let them go completely unharmed. The whole thing took a couple of hours. Then they went home. The crows did not forget. For years afterward, years, anyone who walked across that campus wearing that caveman mask got attacked, dive-bombed, screamed at, mobbed until they left. Not other masks, not other faces, that one. The crows had filed the face away as a threat, and they were not letting it go. And here's where it stops being a story about memory and becomes something stranger. The number of crows attacking the mask didn't shrink over time. It grew. Crows that had never been trapped, that had never even been on campus during the original study, started attacking the mask too. They'd learned the face secondhand, from the crows who were there. The grudge was spreading through the flock like information, like language. It was being passed to offspring, to young crows that had never been wronged, that had no reason of their own to be angry. They inherited the grudge from their parents. A crow was dive-bombing a rubber mask because its mother taught it that this face was the enemy. Now hold that. A bird holding a grudge on behalf of another bird. Because 11,000 kilometers away, something even harder to explain was happening with a much bigger brain. In Amboseli National Park in Kenya, researchers tracking elephant herds noticed the matriarchs, the oldest females, the ones who carry the group's collective memory, were responding differently to different groups of Maasai men, and not randomly. They could tell the difference, by scent, by sound, by the sight of them, between Maasai, who had speared their herd in the past, and Maasai, who never had. Not all humans, not all Maasai, specific people, specific history. Years after the events, across different locations, the matriarch hadn't done the easy thing and decided all humans were dangerous. She'd kept a precise file, a specific face, a specific threat, a specific morning she had never put down, and the entire herd's response ran through her memory. When she flagged a threat, they moved. When she didn't, they stayed. Her grudge was the group's security system. So now you've got it in birds, and you've got it in elephants, two animals that share almost nothing. Which raises the obvious question, how? What is actually happening inside these brains? The answer is the part that should genuinely unsettle you. Inside the brain, two structures do this work. The hippocampus encodes the event, the face, the place, what happened. And the amygdala stamps it with threat, with the emotional charge that makes a memory stick, that lifts it out of the ordinary and keeps it active long after the moment is over. These are not human structures. They're ancient. Birds have them. Elephants have them. Dogs have them. Even octopuses have been documented recognizing individual researchers, ignoring the ones they like, and firing jets of cold water specifically at the ones who handled them roughly. The memory system you use to remember the worst thing that ever happened to you is the same system a crow uses to remember a mask. It wasn't built for humans. It was built because remembering who hurt you is one of the oldest survival tools on this planet. So old that it predates us by hundreds of millions of years. Evolution kept it across species that share nothing else, because forgetting your enemy was a mistake you didn't get to make twice. So the question was never really whether animals could do this. The question was whether we were paying attention. And for a long time, we weren't. The scientific consensus was that crediting animals with memory or emotion or intention was unscientific. Anthropomorphism, projecting ourselves onto creatures that didn't have an inner life. That consensus is being dismantled now, study by study. The crows never waited for it. They were already keeping records. Animal PTSD is now formally recognized. Elephants rescued from poaching events show hypervigilance, exaggerated startle responses, social withdrawal. Years later, not reacting to a present danger, reacting to a memory that won't switch off, still scanning the horizon for the pattern of the morning it all happened. And it gets more specific than that. Dogs from abusive homes don't flinch at all humans. They flinch at a particular silhouette, a particular tone of voice, a particular way a hand is raised. The fear isn't stored as a vague rule. Humans are dangerous. It's stored as a precise signature. This height, this build, this angle of approach. The brain kept the detail because the detail was the difference between safe and not. And that level of precision is the thing that tells you this isn't instinct. Instinct is general. Instinct says, predators are dangerous. Instinct does not say, that man, in that coat, with that particular way of standing in the doorway. Only memory says that. And memory is exactly what the crow has, which changes what's happening when an animal looks at you. It's not a blank stare. It's not instinct passing through. That animal has a record, and you are either in it or you're not. And if you're in it, the look means something specific, about the last time you shared a space, about what happened, about whether it's still watching you for it. The crow on the wire isn't being aggressive. It's monitoring a known variable. Every morning the man arrives. Every morning the file updates. Still here, still the same, still watched. That's not a reaction. That's a judgment. And a judgment requires a past. It requires that something mattered enough to keep. Which means, underneath all of it, something that holds on to what was done to it. Not in human language. In the oldest language there is. The kind written into the body, into the tissue of the brain, by cells that learned a long time ago that some things are too costly to forget. The man will never know. He'll live his whole life sure the crow is just a crow, doing crow things for crow reasons. But somewhere in a brain the size of a walnut, there's a file with his face in it. It's been open for 7 years, and every single morning he walks to his car. It gets updated.